This is a Wall Street Journal editor's pick.
Well, chances are you fall into one of two categories when it comes to exercise. You're really into it, or you make any excuse to avoid it. And there are many reasons you might fall into one of those groups. If you love it, maybe it's because of experiences you had growing up. If you hate it, maybe it's because of the chemical or biological makeup of your body. That's something researchers are looking at. More from Wall Street Journal reporter Shirley Wong, who's based in London. She's with us live this morning. Good morning, Shirley. Is it possible that we could actually be naturally opposed to exercise?
Good morning. Well, that's a question that researchers are looking into because I think, as a lot of people know, when they start exercising, they just feel like it's torture, the sweating, being out of breath. And meanwhile, there are athletes who really like that feeling of, their muscles burning or their heart racing really fast. They seem to like the pain of working out. So that's what scientists are trying to figure out.
So they would do what with this information if they ever determined, I guess, that we were chemically wired to not like exercise?
Well, the goal is really to get people up and moving, to be more active. And what the research seems to be showing so far is actually that there are, of course, like anything else, some individual differences in terms of our lung capacity and, the way our bodies metabolize oxygen, that kind of thing. But really, everybody has a limit at which our bodies feel physically bad. It's called a ventilatory threshold, and it's when our ratio of oxygen in and carbon dioxide out gets skewed. And what happens is that it seems to be some sedentary people actually push past their limit too quickly, and so they actually end up hating exercise because their bodies tell them they don't feel good. Yeah. And if they keep repeatedly doing this, then they actually end up not enjoying the exercise.
But isn't that part of being in shape, or that's different?
Well, when you are in shape, your threshold goes up, so you obviously are more conditioned. But the idea is that if you don't stick with it, you won't get to that point of conditioning yourself better. So if you're sedentary and trying to get into it, and you're working your body too hard, your body basically tells you it doesn't want to do it, and that makes you not want to continue, and then therefore you won't get fitter.
We're speaking with Wall Street Journal reporter Shirley Wong, who's with us live from London. So what about an approach that is just, say, baby steps if you're trying to get into an exercise routine? Does that make sense? Or even for some of those people, is it nearly impossible?
Absolutely, baby steps is important. Researchers at Iowa State have found that for a lot of sedentary, otherwise healthy people, just walking, taking neighborhood walks is too much for their ventilatory threshold. So what they really need to do is to do something where they're actually getting the weight off their feet. So rather than walking, they might go do water exercise or sit on a recumbent bike, which is where you're seated and sort of leaning back and just pedaling. Because, like you said, baby steps are important, but walking is actually maybe too big a step for many people.
Okay. So I guess the cynics might say that, oh, come on, this is just another excuse that, it might be in your genes that you can't exercise. What's the reaction to that?
Well, I think there's undoubtedly, scientists would say individual differences between people, but when they look at people's capacity, and here they've been studying women who are obese and sedentary, but again, otherwise healthy, they find that some of these women's ventilatory thresholds are so low that they would actually meet their feeling where their bodies feel bad just by washing the dishes or cooking. So when you're talking about someone whose body feels that bad at that point, you can say, it's just an excuse, but the point is if you want them to become more active and to be fitter, then they've got to start really, really, really low.
Wow. Thanks, Shirley. Much appreciated. Wall Street Journal reporter Shirley Wong with us this morning live from London. You've been listening to a segment from the Wall Street Journal this morning. To get more, go to WSJThisMorning.com.